Righty. Hello, everybody. Let me get. There we go. Got the music going. You know, it's really funny. Like, uh, hold on. Gotta let people know the stream is live. I gotta find a new playlist. I've been doing medieval lo-fi for the last few weeks. Oh, I don't want it to get stale. So I gotta find something new. I might go back to Lo-Fi Girl. Not sure. Oh my gosh. Okay. Alrighty. Alright. Okay. Now let me make sure I've got my setup. One of these days I'm gonna get a better audio setup, but I'm not really investing in a lot of things until I move because I'm supposed to be moving soon. I'm always supposed to be moving soon. Boop. Okay. Hey. Hello there. So it's funny. It's a fun fact that like, um, I, hmm, uh, I had an interesting weekend, and I've noticed that like with the weather change and with the season, I've just been feeling really lethargic. Um, and my schedule's been getting slowly but surely out of whack. And I don't know, well, I was doing the same thing for a few months. And like my therapist said that if this is something that just normally happens, then just don't beat yourself up over it. Just understand it's happening, right? And that's where the stance I'm trying to take with it is, because like I think this is something that normally happens with me, is just dealing with the seasonal stuff. Um, and that it's weird. Like I've been going to sleep later and later. Like before, I would go to bed around 4 o'clock, and then I'd play on my phone for a couple hours, and I'd go to sleep about 6. Um, Then I'd wake up around 11 to eat my breakfast, to take my medicine. Then I would sleep till like 3:30, 4 o'clock. I realize this sounds like a lot of sleep because it is. Yay, depression. But now it's like everything's been like moved back, and I don't think daylight savings time is gonna help. Because now it's like I usually get in bed around 5 o'clock. I fall asleep around like 7 or 8. And I still wake up around 11 o'clock to eat my breakfast and take my medicine. But then I end up sleeping because normally I'd wake up to start being functional around like 3 or 4. Now I'm not waking up till like 7 p.m. Like I'll wake up around 5, I'll fall back asleep, 6, fall back asleep, but then 7's normally when I drag myself out of bed. And it's this interesting dynamic, and then it's been making me late with so many things, because before, like 7 o'clock was when I was getting started. I'd already eaten, I'd brushed my teeth, well, I was brushing my teeth, and I was on a roll. I had a rhythm. And that rhythm has been broken, and I have to see what comes next, you know? So that's been something I've been struggling with a lot recently. Did I... No. Not in a long time. Like, my problem isn't getting to sleep. Well, it kind of is. The problem is just getting the energy to get up and actually do stuff. But yeah, how was your weekend, Silva? You went to the concert and then you went straight back to work? Yeah. Yeah. Did you see... hold on. Can I turn this volume down a little bit? Let me just turn down the volume of hair. Alright, then I gotta show you. Alright, then I gotta show you this. I gotta show you this. It is a hoot. Where is it? Where is it? So, what happened? I'm not finding. How is there no recent pictures? I've seen it posted everywhere. Here we go. You got to see what happened. So this is what they put up there when they were like, These are the nominees for the Streamer Awards. These are the nominees for Best VTuber. Do you see what's wrong with it? I don't know how well this comes through because I have kind of a low res stream, but can you see what's wrong with this picture, Silva? It's really funny once you know once you realize it. It caused a little bit of drama. Yeah. They got everyone's name wrong except Iron Mouse. They put Shy Lily in Shoto's spot. They put Fruit in Shy Lily's spot, and they misspelled Vebe's name. Vebe's name is Vibae. A lot of people were like, you know, just being nominated is a huge honor, and this would have been a huge honor for Shoto to be nominated. Like, a lot of Shoto's fans are like, this would have been a huge nominated to be featured up with these big names. This was Shoto's big moment to shine. And Shoto wasn't even posted up there because of some picture errors. And that's got to be embarrassing for Fruit that, like, she was featured up there, but her name isn't anywhere up here. And a lot of people, I didn't watch any of it myself. I just saw the drama about it. And from what I heard, they didn't make this mistake with anyone else. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is hilarious. Yeah, definitely congrats to Mouse and Monkey. Mouse and Connor. They worked really hard to get to where they are. And I wouldn't try to take that away from them. I think it's very nice that I think it's very nice that VTubers are being included in the Streamer Awards, because VTubers are a growing area of streaming. But like, I think some VTubers and some streamers in general take their position in internet culture a little too seriously. I saw someone post about it on Twitter where they were like, all these VTubers keep coming out of the woodwork saying that they're crucial cornerstones of internet culture. Like, I can't even ingest your content. I don't have time to sit there and watch an anime girl play Getting Over It for 3 hours. And that's one thing I think, like, that's not just VTubers, that's also streamers in general. Have to understand that a lot of people don't have time to ingest all of their content, and that's why so much of the growth in the VTuber community has been through clippers that put together the highlights in these digestible bits, right? And let me, yeah. they put together the highlights in these digestible bits, which is really important for the growth of VTubing. Oh, yeah, Silva? But so that's a very important thing that we have to take into account, because some people don't really take into account how big of a role clippers play. So like I always remember, like there was a situation with Subaru, um, the Hollow JP VTuber, commented how there was this clip of her stream that got like over 1 million views, and she commented on it in one of her streams, and she's like, hey, the VOD of that stream that's a clip of doesn't even have 1 million views. Maybe go view it in the original stream. And that's one of the dangers, the double-edged sword that is clipping. What message me? Okay. I'm fairly certain Cooksey has a team. I'm pretty sure most streamers have teams. Not most streamers, most most clippers have teams that they work with. Hey, Nabiru. So how was everybody's weekend? How was your weekend, Nabiru? You get to read some, you get to watch some good manhwa? Oh, and some anime. Usual weekend. That's nice. So, my Lancer game that um that I run on Sundays almost didn't happen because like one person just wasn't feeling really well. Actually, two people weren't feeling really well, and like one of them thought they could be there, but then they just ended up not feeling well when we started. And so I kind of, for a while, it was just two uh the two of the most chaotic characters just wandering around the spaceship role playing, and I was just playing NPCs that interacted with them. And there was this interesting situation in which they're interacting with this dragon. I play a lot of stuff with dragons in this campaign because yeah, I think it was fun. So there's this What? What are you talking about, Silva? And I do a lot of stuff with dragons. So right now they're interacting with this dragon, and I have dragons as these like higher beings that are um super intelligent and able to bend and warp reality because I want the dragons to be legendary and epic. Um and there's this one dragon that's on their ship. It's about the size of a person. It's like the size of a big dog actually, but its wings make it about the size of a person. Um oh, that's neat. Um and this dragon is a crystallization of the philosophical concept of care and concern. We play with a lot of like high high philosophy stuff, right? We play with a lot of like high philosophy stuff. And I give my players a lot of powerful items, a lot of power in order to see what they'll do with it and to give them unique challenges they can only accomplish with these powerful items. And it's fun getting to see what they do with that. And there was this situation where this dragon is it does not experience time in a linear fashion, right? It exists outside of our normal space time, but because the players just set it free, right? It has decided it's going to follow the players until the end of their lives. Then it'll figure out something else to do, right? It's going to use following the players around to learn more about the material realm in order to decide what it wants to do with its life. This dragon can dematerialize itself and move faster than the speed of light, and it can take other things with it, right? The players needed these chemicals, and they're like, oh, well, because they needed chemicals to operate some cryo systems, right? And they're like, well, we could order these chemicals, but then we're on a tight time frame in order to get them in time. We could buy them, we could go find them. And so the dragon's just trying to be helpful, right? The dragon just wants to be helpful. The dragon is just like, hey, I could go get those for you. And they're like, could you? And they show the dragon pictures and like, but don't get some that are currently in use. Make sure you grab sealed, unopened containers. The dragon's like, sure, I'll do it. I'll grab containers that are currently unused. And if anyone asks, I'll tell them that that the party needs it. And they said the name of the party because the party has a team name. And the player's like, wait, no, don't use our bloop, blipped out. Like, oh, we don't want it to use our name. They weren't sure what to do, and I had the players roll to see if anyone noticed the dragon. No one noticed the dragon. The dragon cleared out the cryo wing of the ICU of a major hospital. Well, it took a couple minutes because the dragon had to gather all of the boxes together in order to transport them. And the dragon also had to find it. So it had to slow down from the speed of light in order to actually examine its surroundings and find the boxes. So, the dragon showed up a couple minutes later, right? And the players realized almost instantly after the dragon left, and they're like, what kind of facility is going to have a large amount of cryo fluid? And they're like, probably a hospital. And they said, oh dear, we just sent a dragon to rob a hospital. Dragon comes back. Dragon has raided the storeroom of the intensive care unit of this hospital a city away, right? And has taken all of the sealed cryo containers. And the party's like, oh no, this is too much. We need to send this stuff back. So like they end up counting out how much they're going to need. They mark which boxes they need, and they tell the dragon, take these other ones back. So then I tell the other player, I'm like, okay, the first player rolled for that one. Now you roll for this one to see if anyone notices. They rolled a 4. Somebody noticed. So I'm like, okay. Because the dragon was overexcited to help, and they didn't tell the dragon how much they needed. You're right, I did kind of monkey's paw them. I admit I did kind of monkey's paw them. This entire story is very much a monkey's paw. And I feel slightly terrible for doing it to my players. But it was funny. In my defense, it was funny. So, someone notices the dragon. And I have the dragon come back covered in soot from explosions and fire. And the dragon's like, well, somebody showed up. I told them that iCrystal was returning unneeded containers, and they started shooting. And the party's like, well, is there a flammable symbol on the box? And now me being the DM, you have to realize, sometimes when you're improving, you just have to do whatever is the funniest or most interesting outcome. You have to do what's the most interesting outcome. Like, my hands were tied. I was obligated. The players asked if this stuff was flammable, so I had to say yes. Like, my hands were tied, Nabiru. It was out of my control. I don't make the rules. So then I played it up that they checked the news and found out that the containers had been stored with other flammable things. Whenever the dragon appeared, the guards got scared and opened fire, caused a chain reaction, caused explosions, incinerated everyone in the ICU of that building and the floors above and below it at the hospital. And the players just realized that they caused this massacre. And so because of the situation, right? This also served a different purpose, where one of the other players who wasn't there at the time has recently discovered a way to reverse death. Which I thought was okay because it doesn't stop the mech from being shot down, it stops the pilot from being killed, which I thought was an interesting take on a mech game, right? If you can save your pilot because it had all of these very intense and difficult lore repercussions for what they're doing for reversing death. So when that player ended up joining partway through the session, and when that player found out about what had happened, I was curious if that player was going to show up and use their cure for death and revive all the dead people, because they have the tools to do that. And that's what I mean about putting in situations that challenge the players and give them opportunities to use the tools that they've acquired. That was a situation where the players were indirectly responsible for this massacre, but they also had the tools to make it right. They didn't want to take that risk. The equipment was still in its experimental phase. They didn't want the heat and the publicity of reviving 30 some odd people in a very public way. It was, and I might have leaned into it a little bit. The dragon just wants to help, and the dragon has been imprisoned for ages untold. And the dragon has been imprisoned outside of regular time and space for an eternity while being tortured. So the dragon has no concept of the value of human life. And it doesn't like it likes the party because the party freed it. And it is using the party as an excuse and a lens with which to view the material realm to decide what it wants to do with the rest of its life. And it's really funny because like the dragon will just say, "You are my favorite humans. That is why I'm going to follow you for the rest of your lives," and then decide what to do after. And like the players have said that like it sounds really wholesome and heartwarming until the dragon mentions that it's going to follow them for the rest of their lives and talks about what it's going to do after they die. But I mean, they could tell the dragon to build the new hospital. This dragon's not large enough to spontaneously generate anything, so the dragon would have to take the materials from somewhere. After the dragon left, the players were like, "You know, we should have sent the dragon with a credit card." I'm just like imagining the dragon teleporting into the storeroom with a credit card in its mouth. Everyone's gonna get too scared in order to swipe the card. The party is very much like desensitized to dragons appearing out of nowhere because they've interacted with so many of them, but they forget that other people do not see, like, will go an entire lifetime without seeing a dragon. And dragon shows up being all "be not afraid." It was arguably hilarious. Um, and one funny quirk about this dragon, right? Because it is the crystallization of the philosophical concept of care and concern. Every time it speaks, it doesn't have its own voice. Everyone who hears its voice hears the voice of someone they care about, someone that they are concerned about, someone who has had a deep and important impact on their life. So this leads to some interesting RP situations where some characters are hearing like dead wives or hearing dead teammates, or hearing. Or what's funny is whenever they start hearing other people, like other teammates that are in the ship with them. And the dragon has very limited control over what people hear. Oh my gosh. So like I love Twitter, right? This is completely changed subject, right? Because I primarily love Twitter because it's a place where I can interact with people that very few people from my real life actually follow me on, right? So I can say stuff, I can vent about stuff and be really safe venting about stuff there on Twitter. And I can interact as myself and not be expected to adhere to uh all of the preconceived notions that come with Facebook from all of the family and friends and all of the consequences of venting on Facebook, right? But sometimes Twitter discourse gets really silly, especially in the TTRPG community. So there has been I don't even want to call it an argument. It's just been like a slap fight of these two sides of this discussion hurling insults at each other without actually listening to each other. Um, and the thing is, both sides have a point, and neither side is listening to the other side. They're just insulting each other. And it's like, I haven't said anything because I don't want to get in the middle of drama or whatever, but it's just so funny. So, what happened to music? Stop. Where did the music go? There we go. Cool. Um, so there is one side that is saying the D&D 5e official stat block for the Tarrasque or Tarrasque is underpowered, and some would call it boring, but they're just basically saying it's underpowered and weak, right? The stat block as written is just, they're describing it as being a very weak thing. And their explanation, their example that they use to explain that the Tarrasque is weak in 5e is that an Aokakra, which is a bird people race in 5th edition that has natural flying, and with a +1 bow or just a magic bow that does magic damage and enough arrows, can stay out of the Tarrasque's range and just plink it to death. And as written on the stat sheet, there is nothing the Tarrasque can do in order to protect itself from just getting chipped to death by these arrows. So, like, that is true. As written, there is nothing the Tarrasque can do. And it is true that the Tarrasque stat block is underwhelming. So, like, that is one thing that group is correct on. But then, yeah. But then there's the other side that is saying, for one, the Tarrasque stat block has 25 AC. The example is a level 1 Aokakra with a magic bow can kill the Tarrasque with enough arrows. And the response the other side has is, I'd love to see a level 1 character consistently hit a 25 AC. Because that's what the Tarrasque has, 25 AC. And also this expression that the point of fighting a Tarrasque is that you're trying to defeat it before it destroys the city, village, country, nation, whatever. And if you're killing it with just like 3 damage or whatever at a time, using a +1 bow, it will take you over an hour of game time in order to actually put it down. In that time, the Tarrasque will have leveled everything, will have destroyed everyone you're trying to protect. And you may kill the Tarrasque, or kill being a loose definition of the word. Well, the thing is, like, a level 1, each time that hits the 25 AC, you're going to be doing a D8 plus 4 damage. So it's going to be averaging 5 damage. Tarrasque is like over 100 HP. So you have to do it consistently. So like, there's that, right? That you could theoretically defeat the Trask and have it like dematerialize, and it'll awaken some other time. But everything you're fighting to protect would be gone. Your entire village, the people that you're trying to protect, the country you've been hired to defend, is gone. Entire civilization can be wiped out by a Trask in an hour. Someone tried to claim that a group of rangers on foot could run fast enough to outrun the Trask, and I'm like, no. The Trask has so many ground options that it'll just plow through them. But then that other side also brings up another thing. Due to the improvised weapon rule, a Trask can pick up a rock and throw it. Trask can literally pick up a rock and throw it as a strength throwing item. And because it's an improvised weapon, it'll do a D4 plus strength. So like, you're not, the Trask is just going to throw things at you, right? And that's one thing that they've brought up, like even without home brewing, right? There's the improvised weapon rule that just says the Trask can throw things at you. So, and there's another part of it. There's another fold to it, right? It's 5th edition. We know, everyone knows that in D&D 5th edition, if you want to have a meaningful combat, if you want to have a meaningful and impactful and powerful scene, you're going to have to homebrew something. Something is going to have to get homebrewed. Like, in this case, it's not even much of a homebrew. It's just applying the improvised weapon rule to the Trask stat sheet. But the thing is, that doesn't mean that the other side is completely wrong. This is, like, I believe it's the weakest Trask we've had in statted out. I don't know. But I know it's definitely weaker than the 3.5 Trask. Yeah, it is cool. So the Trask is supposed to be the strongest official enemy. The Trask is a powerful destroyer of nations. The theory is that every time you destroy the Trask, it'll dematerialize, and then someone else will revive it at some point in the future in order to use it as a weapon. I think it's like driven by an all-consuming hunger. But yeah, so that's a thing. And I have, like, it's just funny watching this argument devolve into just mudslinging. When, like, both sides are kind of right. It is a weak stat block. But they're also taking that to the extreme, saying, because for one thing, a level 1 character is not going to have a +1 bow. A level 1 character would never have a +1 bow to you. You'd have to be like at least level 5 or 6. So if they were saying a level 5 or 6 ranged fighter or ranger with a +1 bow could kite a Trask, okay, but the Trask would still cause massive devastation. And at some point, it's not on the stat. Like, I think what a lot of people would feel better about would be if there was a thing on the stat block, if there was a ranged attack on the stat block, if there was I throw rocks on the stat block because other things can throw rocks, right? Having some kind of a thrown weapon on the stat block would be nice, but we can improvise it. But yeah, it's just been interesting watching that discourse. Kinda, yeah. Though it has been funny seeing the trolls that like whenever one side's just like, yeah, you'll kite the Tarask and kill it eventually, but it's going to level an entire nation in the process. Um, because a level 1 character hitting a 25 AC is going to waste a lot of ammunition. Like you're going to be weighed down with a bunch of ammunition, and in that kind of a fight, I would make the player track their ammo. Um, and something like that, yeah. I've heard a lot of different ways to fight Tarrasques. I think one of my favorites is for a level 20 druid to let itself get eaten and then wild shape from inside the stomach and then just keep wild shaping on its turn because they can at level 20 they can wild shape a bunch in order to let the wild shapes HP absorb the damage from the stomach acid as they bypass the thing's magic resistance because the magic resistance is only in the shell, so the organs inside aren't magic resistant, so they would just attack it from the inside. Oh yeah, there was a thing. I think it was like the Oscars, Silva. That could work, Naviru. Okay. Is that from Everything Everywhere All at Once? Yeah, that thing. Yeah, that was the thing, I guess. Yeah, I heard about that. That one's good. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I already talked to you all about the Critical Role episode. People are still talking about the Critical Role episode, and I'm so glad. Yeah, the man is back. I'm so glad that this past Critical Role episode wasn't like the last one before a break. So many times the like in super intense Critical Role episodes are like the last ones before a break, and then you have to go 2 weeks before we figure out what happens next. Like I think the community would have like collectively clawed its eyes out if we had to wait 2 weeks to figure out what happens next. I was talking to one of my friends. I was talking to one of the players in my Lancer campaign the other day, and they were like they were like 4 weeks behind, and all the weeks just run into each other with me because I watch them as they air, right? So they're like, yeah, isn't the bad guy such and such? I'm like, no, the bad guy's Ludinus. And they're like, oh, Ludinus is back. And I'm like, I guess 4 weeks ago was before Ludinus showed back up. And I'm like, I hope I didn't spoil you. Okay. Let me. All right. I don't see anything on Twitter worth talking about. Let's get to the actual writing for tonight. Well, I mean, that's kind of what they do with Point Buy. Like, so in so there are different types of TTRPGs, right? That's kind of what you're describing is kind of what they do with Point Buy, but it is exactly what they do with the hero system. Um, where you don't have classes. Um, all of the powers and abilities have point values. Um, and you get a massive points that you can use for your stats, for your skills, and for your powers. That's what they do in Mutants and Masterminds. You just get 150 points or whatever if you're doing PL10 and you're told to go wild, and then you have to build your entire character with that. It leads to some interesting optimization. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, did you hear about the Tetris movie? I didn't know it came out already. Yeah, there's a Tetris movie. Okay, it is not it is a movie about um the development of Tetris and the story behind like like the sale of Tetris and the journey to get Tetris packaged with the Game Boy. There's apparently a whole like there's apparently a whole spy thriller story. Well, no, like there was a whole thing where like I think the whole thing is like so Tetris was developed by a Soviet uh a designer in the Soviet Union, and this video game salesperson wanted to try to get Tetris packaged with the Game Boy as a launch title, and the Soviet Union didn't want to give up anything to the West. They didn't want to give up anything to any of the other video game production companies. Um, so there was this whole thing with kidnapping, threatening. Apparently it turns into a whole spy thriller. And it deals with a lot of actual video game history. Hmm. Okay. But I didn't know it came out already. I need to watch that at some point. Hmm. Watch the trailer for it. Check out the trailer for the Tetris movie. Like when I first saw the trailer, I saw the commercial for the trailer, right? Yeah, that was bad. I heard how bad that was. Something about an alien invasion and some stuff about sink my battleship. Okay. All right. Oh no, Sesame Street's launching NFTs. No. I don't want to think about that. Let's get to actual writing tonight. Oh. Apparently there's an update available for OpenOffice. Let me just update this real quick. It should be quick. You know what? I'll update it later. For now, let's just focus on getting the writing flowing. I want to hit at least 1,000 words tonight, between 1,000 and 1,400 words. If I only get to write one day a week, then I want to knock it. I want to knock out some good stuff. Okay. So, one thing I missed when I started, because like with getting my lore novel edited, I'm getting it edited via Google Docs. What I miss is this tool where I can highlight things and figure out how many words are in a specific section. That is one thing I really miss. All right, so that's 1,000 words. So I need another 1,000 words for this chapter. Okay. What was the point of this chapter? Let me grab my outline. We're in 8. Okay. This is dealing with taking the lead in the new Okay, 9 is whenever Iris gives Hazel the Revolutionary's notebook. Okay, let me do one thing. I got a lot of ideas from my viewers the other day. Might together. Let's see, Goldfish. 007 Goldfish suggested naming the combined organization Goldfish instead of Umbrella. Mist, Might, and Secret together. Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna go with that. Mist. Okay. I'm putting this in my notes because I want to make sure I hang on to everything. All right. Might and Secret together. This is 007. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna go with that. I like it. I likes it. All right, so they were just in their meeting. They're meeting secretly with Iris. Iris had been defined as the second in command of the belated revolt or rebellion or something. Okay, let's get rolling. Did I have them riding their bikes there? Yeah, I'll have them riding their bikes over there because I need to explain how they're traveling. I don't want to do the whole night taxi thing. By the light of glowing Moss Street. I gotta word that differently. There we go. The path lit up like glowing Moss streetlights. I like that wording better. This is also where it's gonna be um uh Hazel nodding and like agreeing with Fern on like now is like the people are acting panicked right now because they just lost their leader. Okay, so they run into a guard. This is where it's going to be where people are going to start recognizing Hazel. And we see the beginnings of this rise to power. Okay. They get ushered into the meeting. Now I got to figure out what they're going to say at the meeting. Uh. Ooh. Oh my gosh, I just saw a meme. The older I get, the more dog I become. Obsessed with being given affection and being told that I'm doing a good job. Losing my mind every time I go for a nice walk. Terrified of the doorbell. All right. All right. All right. Sometimes you just gotta poke around on the internet a little bit just to clear your head whenever you're moving too much of a groove. All right, back to work. I realize having a leader in a rebellion isn't super like it's not super great because a lot of times you want the rebellions to be like led by like you'll have like maybe one charismatic person giving the orders, but then you want the individual cells to be operating mostly by committee. Okay. So we'll take it with them. They were expecting Hazel to call in, but then why did the guard know their name? Because the guard knows to look for messages from Hazel and Fern. So the guard's looking for messages. That's why the guard wasn't looking for them, and it takes a moment for the guard to recognize. Yes, actually, Tom, I am. I'm working on one of my work in progress. This story is a kind of cyberpunk story, except instead of like the normal cyberpunk tech, all the tech is some form of plant, and they're dealing with a an overwhelming governmental force that wants to exterminate most of humanity. How was your weekend, Tom? How did I say? I may have to generate names for these characters. I don't want to name them because it's not super important. Oh no, what happened, Tom? Mine was funny. My my Lancer game on Sunday almost didn't happen because I had a couple players who weren't feeling well. So I kind of just ran it with two other players, just kind of doing a little bit of role play in their own little side adventure. It was funny. Um, they had their fun little adventure and shenaniganry, and then one of the players was able to join us for the last like hour or so. So it turned into a really nice session. But I was really worried it wasn't going to go off, but I'm glad it did come together. The party in my Sunday Lancer game. Oh, all right, Tom. Well, I mean, I'm glad it got to coagulating. So for my Sunday Lancer game, the party accidentally sent a dragon to go rob a hospital. It was it was quite funny. I definitely monkey's pawed them. I definitely kind of because like, whenever you're playing a game, you want to do the most interesting thing possible. Next session gets you some goss. Sounds like a plan, Tom. I'll make sure to put it on the shopping list. Yeah, but it was funny. So then I had the players roll for if anyone would notice the dragon robbing the hospital. No one noticed the dragon robbing the hospital, but they didn't tell the dragon how much stuff they needed. So the dragon took everything that met the description and ended up taking more stuff than they needed. So then the players were like, well, can we have the dragon take the stuff back that we don't need? So I had the players roll, and some of the guards noticed the dragon coming back and panicked because there was a dragon dropping off these containers that also happened to be flammable of some chemicals and equipment. And the guard panicked and started shooting, and then the containers exploded. The dragon got out fine, but then a section of the hospital then blew up. And the players now are like, whoopsies. I definitely monkey's pawed them and kind of like in my quest to do the most interesting thing, I definitely twisted their wish. But we all ran with it, and it made for some very interesting drama in the session. All right, I need to generate some names. All right, so I need names for these 4 advisors. So I'm gonna follow my normal thing of uh, generating random plants to have for names. There's 4 advisors. Let me do a random number generator. Here we go. That's a good question. The short answer is in this cyberpunk world, this plant punk world, I guess, of airships and plant technology. The main character, he's very driven to chase his career and try to survive in the world that he's living in, but then his entire world gets turned upside down when one day the government just announces that humanity has reached a dead end and that in order to help humanity move forward, they're planning for some mass exterminations. And so then the character gets wrapped up in rebel forces in trying to stop the extermination and um, learning more about the world, learning about the past, learning about what led to this moment that the character had been completely oblivious to because he'd just been living his life, and then had this unfolding mystery of what led to the moment that they're at now. All right. Gotta press the button 3 times and choose number 2. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Shasta. Or Daisy. I'll go with Daisy. I usually use this random plant generator in order to decide on names for characters. I don't put a whole lot of thought into it. I don't like pick a flower that's related to their character or anything crazy like that. I just pick a plant name. All right, so that's 1. Daisy. I choose the first one. That was not the button I wanted. Press the button 5 times and choose the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Schubert's flowering onion. Schubert is already a name, so that feels like cheating. We'll go with onion. I'll say that's a guy's name. Alrighty. Gonna press the button 6 times. Choose the first one. See, Nabaru? You're absolutely right. Six. Ash. Bio hierarchy to the flora dangers. Okay, that's interesting. Probably, Nabiru. Probably. It's female name. I realize my model is doing weird things, so I'm typing in these numbers. 4 and 1. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Glory of the Snow. I don't really generate last names of characters unless I really need. I go with Snow as a male name. That gives me 2 female advisors, 2 male advisors. Okay. Ugh. Okay. Okay. You want to send it to me? I don't think you can post. I think I have it blocked so you can't post links in stream chat. But you can send me you can send it to me, send a link to me on Facebook or Discord or something. Hmm. Flower and plant baby names and meanings. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, Tom, I'll take a look at it. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Okay. Okay. What are the names again? I just had them. Onion. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see how many words we've got done so far tonight. I think we've probably got like at least 800. I want to get at least 1,000 words tonight. 730, 730. So yeah, I was close. I guessed about 800. We still have another 40 minutes left before I stop writing for the night, so we got plenty of time to keep chugging through. So in the original draft of this, I had this long, extensive section where Hazel went to all of the different organizations they were working with in order to clarify what each organization wanted. And I liked that exchange, but I felt like it just felt out of place to be happening so early. So I think I'm probably going to be having a similar exchange happen in probably the next few chapters of Hazel meeting the other second in commands and now that all the main leaders have been taken, and then determining what their goal is in order to have some direction. Because up to this point, right, the story hasn't introduced what anyone's goal is besides stop the extermination research, stop the research into the super bomb that's going to be exterminating people, right? Um, and that's all you've need to know because that's all Hazel cared about. That's all the main character cared about was stopping that bomb from being destroyed. He didn't care about all of the steps involved, all of uh, the other pieces. His only job was flying the airship that launched the attacks at uh, on all of these research facilities that were working on developing this super bomb. Um, Not really. So there's their big bad guy is this governmental party called Roja Crucius that is exploiting everyone and is trying to do this whole uh extermination order, and they're planning to exterminate people with some kind of a super weapon. My original plan was to do some kind of a bomb, but I'm not sure if that's going to suit my needs for the story, so it might be some other plant themed uh type of super weapon. But for the sake of the story, I want it to be something that involves a lot of research and development because that gives easy targets for for the rebellion to be attacking in order to be trying to stop the development of this thing. I don't have a name for the super bomb or the super menace or the super weapon. I'm keeping it really vague just so whenever I come up with when I come up with something good, I will go back and be able to edit that back in. But for now, I'm just keeping it really vague. This is just a draft. So why? Do you have some suggestions, Tom? Some kind of an extermination plant? I'm always open to suggestions. Okay. How many orgs did I have in here? 1, 2, 3. It's 4 organizations working together. Flytrap could be interesting. Operation Flytrap. One, two, three. I like that Flytrap one. I'm gonna make a note of that. Okay. Nightshade, Hemlock, Foxglove are all dangerous to humans and have interesting names for an organization. Those are interesting takes. So, like right now, the bad guy is this big political party, but I could have a separate organization that is like driving the villainous intent from within that political party. Those are definitely interesting names. I'll make a note of them. Yeah, it does. Alrighty. I think that's the end of the chapter. Let me see how many words this is. I'm not sure if I could think of anything else to do with this chapter. I like writing short chapters. It helps me with staying. Interesting idea, Tom. Just cleaning off my glasses. My glasses get so dirty. Which reminds me, I got a letter in the mail that it's time for me to schedule my next eye doctor appointment. And I still have to do that. It's so annoying scheduling appointments. Got to make sure it's a day that I can get a ride there, and then like, if I can't get a ride there, then I got to reschedule. It's an absolute mess. All right, let's see. So far tonight we've written almost 900 words. All right, so this chapter's got a little bit more space. Hmm. Roots organization are the roots. The nations, corporations involved are the tree, and the branches spreading and growing in is the shade of the world. Ooh, that's an interesting thought process, Tom. Your brain's on fire tonight. That's also true, Tom. Trees and images do generally resemble mushroom clouds. And mushrooms resemble mushroom clouds. Okay. Hmm. It was Daisy talking, right? Yeah, I think so. Uh, okay. Alrighty. That came together a little bit better. All right, we'll end the chapter there on that ominous note of some of them might be too happy to meet you. I think we hit 1,000 words there, which was good. Let me see what we got. Mm-hmm. There we go. 1,200 words. Okay. Brings it up to 22. Yep, that's fine. All right, so that's the second half of chapter 8 done. Let's look at chapter 9. Let me check my my outline. The push. This is what pushes him out of the old world and into the new world. We'll say this is Hazel meeting all of the Hazel meets all of the leaders. I'm going to put Iris last in order to lead into that talk about the revolutionary. And then that's going to lead into chapter 10, which is where I change viewpoints and we start telling the story of our secondary protagonist, well, technically our antagonist, and we follow them for essentially their own act one as we follow their story arc. This is going to be interesting because I'm planning to have essentially two protagonists. Like the antagonist is going to be treated as their own, like they're going to get a lot of dedicated chapters where the story's told from their point of view. And I want to make sure I'm fully developing them as characters. So that's going to be very interesting. All right, so how do I start this chapter? I'll probably start the chapter with Hazel heading back home. Probably gonna have the phone call to detail the meeting with the other three organizations. Watering a plant on a windowsill. That's an interesting way to start the chapter, Tom. That's an interesting way to start the chapter. All right. Good night, Silva. It was great having you. Hope you have a good night and get some rest. I know your work's always draining you. Interesting. Garden, ironically. So then everyone's plants could turn on them. That could be. That could be interesting. Mm-hmm. I appreciate it, Tom. It's always nice to have input. I definitely, part of doing this on stream is being willing to take and integrate input from different sources over the course of this project. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Yes, Nabiru. I remember that show. Ooh, that's a good way. That's true, Tom. Hmm. Let me check. Repercussions. Okay, there we go. Okay. That's a nice start to the store. That's a nice start to the chapter. All right. Why can I not spell that word? How do you spell leisurely? Oh, Leisure. Okay. All right. That's pretty good writing for tonight. We'll leave it till next week. Let's start winding down for the night. Uh, all right. So, I'm glad you didn't have to get stitches, Tom. That would have been really frustrating. I'm sure. Oh, no. Why? There we go. So what do you have planned for the week, Tom? What are your big goals or things you want to accomplish this week? Yeah, that does sound really odd. But yeah, I'm curious, Tom, what are your goals for the week? What are you trying to get done this week? Do you have any creative goals or things that you want to work on and accomplish this week? Ooh, okay. That's always important when it comes to running a campaign is having staying ahead of where the players are. I know I'm dealing with something similar to that in my mhm. I know I'm dealing with that something similar to that in my Sunday game where my players are getting to the end of what I had really planned out. So now I've been working on planning out the next few steps, and I need to coordinate with my players to make sure that the next steps of the campaign are going to be something that really suit with what they're hoping for in the campaign. And I know I've been doing a lot of planning and work for the Power Rangers campaign. It just needs to come together. Yeah, but the thing is, players are always going to do something you don't plan for. So there's this balance between like planning and over planning, because if you over plan, then it can be hard to like reward player creativity. At least that's been my experience. I felt like whenever I over planned things, um if my players tried to do something I hadn't planned for, my first response was to like move whatever I had planned to wherever the players ended up in order to guarantee that the players ran into whatever I had planned for them. Um and uh that was just that was a mess. Oh, whoops. Give me 1 second. I'll have the music back up in just a second. Um I'm updating Open Office, the word processor. Yeah, exactly, Tom. Yeah, having like your world is so open world that like you have to do so much extra work in order to make sure that we always have like you have a plan for whatever direction we end up going. I know my players try to take a one shot NPC. My players tend to go the opposite route in my Sunday game, where like I'll introduce an NPC that I want to be important, and my players will want nothing to do with that NPC. Um, and I think some of that has to do with some of like the characters they're playing in the Sunday game. Where like in the Sunday game, they're all playing these characters that are on the run from something and trying to uh avoid being noticed. So then all the stuff that I would use to like reward them of notoriety and fame are things they don't want. Um, and I think part of it's going to have to be defining what I'm going to have to be clear with my players about is like finding out what it is specifically they want. Yeah, exactly, Tom. Mhm. Where did my music go? There's my music. Are we back? Are we back, everybody? I tried turning the music back on, and then all of a sudden OBS crashed. Can you hear me? I think we're back. This is what I get for updating a program while I'm streaming, because I have the patience of a 5-year-old. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Open worlds can be really exciting. And like, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm curious, Nabiru, when was the last time you had one of your RP groups? Because I remember you said you were having trouble finding people for your RP groups. I'm glad to be back. All right. So, like I said, I'm curious, Nabiru. When was the last time you had one of your roleplay groups? Yep, I remember you shared one of your worlds, and that's always interesting to see what you're working on. You come up with some your idea was very creative. The one with the where all magic was out of the world except for if anyone wanted to use magic, it had to be in magic items. And then people were using found legendary magic items or something, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool. All right. Well, that's good. I'm glad you were able to do that a few months ago. Let me see if there's anything cool or any cool memes to talk about. Ooh. It's not strange to not get any. The site I post on, people can be quite picky. A lot of people who only do multi-para posts. So a lot of times I may post it and get no response. Oh, that sounds rough. I just saw a meme that's funny. Lizards are just four-wheel drive snakes. Righty. Okay. uh, I feel so called out. Hold on, let me get this meme. Some just evolve into chats. That's rough. So I'm in an interesting situation with my players for my Sunday group, right? Because like, so my players for my Sunday group have a separate chat that they use that I'm not invited to. Um, and originally, I think that was originally designed to deal with RPing situations and relationships with these characters that they didn't feel fit the tone of. Uh, they didn't feel fit the tone of the campaign. So like, it's because I don't deal with romantic subplots in my campaign, and the characters and the players wanted to explore these romantic things and other things they felt just didn't fit in the campaign. They wanted to do them in their own private chat, which that's cool. But then like there are interpersonal interactions and like key plot points in character story arcs that are happening in that chat that I'm not privy to. Like, I don't think I ever knew that one of the characters has a dead wife, but that was brought up in their RP chat, and I'm like, I'm doing my best to keep up, but it definitely keeps me on my toes. I think it came to a head. It's actually really funny. It came to a head a few weeks ago when like I thought two characters were just really good friends, and then they started kissing in one scene, and I was like, what? So it's definitely interesting. But anyway, on a completely separate note, check out this meme that I found that I feel so called out by. Why is it so big? All the prepackaged stuff. So many things. I live and die by ramen. I don't use the sauce packets because the sauce packets at the Walmart that I shop at aren't vegan. It's funny. I was talking to someone about it, and I was like, "Yeah, I can't get." Yeah, it's something like that, Tom. But like, so I was talking to someone about ramen, right? And um, I was explaining how the ramen at my local Walmart, all the ramen uh varieties that I can afford use either milk or powdered meat stuff. Um so I can't use any, since I'm a vegan, I can't use any of the sauce packets. So I have to come up with my own sauces. I just use the noodles. And someone was like, "Well, if you shop at you should check out your nearest Indian grocery store." And I'm like, "I don't there is no Indian grocery store near me." Like, are you kidding? And even if there was, I couldn't really afford to shop there. Yeah, it just like after the kissing scene happened was when they approached me, and like one of the players approached me afterwards and was like, "Hey, are you okay with us doing romantic subplots?" And I'm like, I mean, I'm fine. I just would have liked to know. Not all ramen is egg noodles. Most of the stuff you buy in stores is wheat noodles. Most of the really cheap stuff is just wheat and water. Expensive ramen is usually made with egg noodles, but mm, but it was just really funny. Someone's like, "Really?" Hmm. But yes, the meme was funny. Yeah, yeah. Like one thing people don't realize is that like when you have a busy life, you don't have time to really do a lot of cooking, so you have to get the stuff that's cookable fast. Sounds pretty good. Sounds like some pretty good living there, Tom. 'Bargain Hunter eats healthy. Sounds like a nice combination, Nabiru. Yeah, I guess at some point things had to change for you, Tom. 'Cause I don't think, because like I don't, when I look at my Yeah, when I look at my noodles, it doesn't say it contains any egg at all. Mm-hmm. Right. They usually so the milk ingredients are in the sauce packet. They use milk ingredients in the sauce packet. Mm-hmm. No, it's fine. Just got me just got me thinking. It's like I could read so like going vegan, I think the biggest thing was reading learning to read labels. I spent more time reading labels in my first 3 months of being a vegan than I did for the entire years of my life beforehand. Something like that. Because I'm like, I know I read the label. I've read the label multiple times. I live on ramen, right? I normally, so my diet, I normally make ramen. I throw in some frozen mixed vegetables and I'll like usually microwave a can of beans or some other protein source to go with it in order to make a balanced meal. That is most of what I eat. Or I'll have some kind of like, or I'll like microwave some like vegan chicken patties, um, or some vegan ground beef. Hmm. Hmm. Oh goodness, Tom, that sounds rough. Like I only eat certain things. Like if I find something that I can eat, that's what I'll eat. But like I'm very simple in just being able to eat the same thing over and over again. Hmm. That makes sense, Tom. And one of the important things um about being vegan is that it's a choice. Um, I am I'm vegan by preference, and I understand that living in America means there's going to be some cross contamination. There's going to be some amount of stuff that I just can't stop. I cannot afford to live a 100% pure vegan lifestyle, and I'm not sure if I want that stress for it. And being okay with that, but also understanding that like my choice is my choice. I can only control what I eat and what I do. I can only control my own decisions and my own habits. And I'm not trying to like convince or woo the other people in the house. But some of the people that I live with have said that they want to eat healthier and they've asked me to cook for them. So whenever I have energy, I do try to cook some other things, but I have to make sure I'm very specific because like one person in the house has an allergy to onions. That's like really bad. So like you don't realize like I'm so used to looking for things that have eggs, milk, and butter and all that other stuff. So I'm used to looking at that and be like, okay, can't have that, can't have that, can't have that. But then I didn't even think about like trying to find things that don't uh uh trying to find things that don't have onions. Like you don't think about how many things have onions in them. Yeah. And like when I was talking to my one housemate who's allergic to onions, he's like, "Listen, there's at least there is a shelf or an aisle at the grocery store dedicated to food for you. There is there is like nothing specifically dedicated to food for me." And I didn't even realize how big of a thing it was until I started trying to cook for him and being like, I can't use this, you can't use that. That is a very funny way to spell Greece. You spelled Greece the food, but you wrote it like Greece the place. Yes, you want to eat a country. Don't let Doxus hear you. Oh my gosh. Hold on, I gotta share this. It's not a meme. It's a comic strip real quick, but it just cracked me up because I just saw someone share it. Come on. Grammarly thought you were talking about the place, not the food item. Dad, how do people make babies? Most people go to Sears, buy the kit, and follow the assembly instructions. Is Sears even still around? Is Sears still a store? I came from Sears? No, you were Blue Light Special at Kmart, almost as good and a lot cheaper. Ah! What are you telling Calvin now? That's so funny. Telling the kid you got them on sale. Oh my gosh. What is this meme you sent me? Yeah, I've seen the first part of this meme, but the second part makes it so much funnier. So I've seen the first part of this meme where it's like, this candle smells like Fireball. Us non-alcoholics call that cinnamon, right? That part I've seen before, but this part cracks me up. I immediately wondered what the third level spell Fireball would smell like, imagining the smell of heat and burnt wood and flesh. Then I read Alcoholics and realized this post was not, in fact, D&D related. Uh, doo-doo-doo. I'll try to remember that. I have terrible memory, but I'll try to remember that. If I hear you say I smell cinnamon, that just means it's a warning a fireball is about to go off. This one is not D&D related, but it is quite adorable. It Yes, don't tell Garza exactly. Seeing as Silva's already gone. It took my new cat a while to realize that kissing the top of her head was a gesture of affection, but I think she's finally got it. The downside is that she now thinks the best way to signal that she wants cuddles is to come charging at me and mash the top of her head against my face. It's like a very affectionate punch to the mouth. Punch in the mouth. Which that sounds adorable, but also sounds like it could be kind of painful, and it makes me miss having a cat. Okay. It is 11:34 already. Time has flown by tonight. Oh. All right, this was good. Give me the last one before I do my outro. Don't be scared, he's just playing the dog. Yes. Running at me, teeth bared. Yes, he's just playing. All right. So I like to end my streams with words of affirmation for my viewers in order to let them know how wonderful I think they are. So for Nabiru, for Silva, for Tom, for anyone else who watched silently and didn't say anything and was lurking in the shadows, for anyone who watches the VOD later, I want to say to all of you that I love all of you. I believe in each and every one of you, and I think that each one of you makes this world a better place just by being in it. I believe that you all are wonderful, unique, and capable individuals with a special one-of-a-kind energy that only you can bring to everything you do. I believe that uh, each one of you possesses an infinite potential that cannot be defined or contained. Thank you for giving me your time, your effort, and your attention. Thank you for coming to my stream and being a part of this community, the Star Hunters. I'm grateful every day to live in a world with you in it. Always remember the Star Hunter motto: shoot for the stars, have wonderful adventures, live your dreams, and always, always, always stop to enjoy the meme. I ask that you like the stream. It helps the algorithm with recommending it out to other people. And if you're watching the VOD and you have any suggestions, thoughts, comments, ideas, feel free to leave a comment. As long as you're not banned, I will read it. I may not act on everything I read. I do try to respond to everything, but I will try to read them all. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing here on YouTube, feel free to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and ding the notification bell. It'll let you know whenever I go live or when I have any new content out. And if you have any friends or family that you think might enjoy my streams, feel free to invite them to my streams or show them any of my VODs or other content. Always looking for ways to expand and bring new people into the community. With that said, if you also want to keep up with what I'm doing outside of YouTube, you can follow me on Twitter or join my Discord. Links to both of those are in the description down below. Thank you all for coming. Next stream is going to be Friday, 8:30 p.m. EST. Probably going to be playing some Armored Core because I haven't done that in a couple weeks. Shooting for doing some of the Armored Core 3 post-game stuff. See how much of that we can get done in one stream. But I will see all of you then. Have yourselves a wonderful week. And remember, you are amazing.